It was the first South American city to host the Summer Olympic Games. Despite a Zika outbreak and an economic crisis, Rio de Janeiro was praised for hosting the event without any major problems. Its stadiums witnessed the cheers and tears of athletes and fans, but a year on, they are vacant and derelict. Authorities insist they need more time to put the venues to good use. But for residents of Villa Autodromo, a neighborhood almost demolished to make way for the Olympic Village, time is only making them angrier.
The Olympics have only brought problems here. We were coerced, we were threatened with losing our home if we didn't leave. The Olympics haven't brought us any benefits.
Iran Oliveira was relocated to a new housing project, but he feels that conditions there aren't any better from living in a shanty town. His new home has cracked walls and tiles that keep falling off. He and other residents can't sell their properties until the city has completed payments for the housing project's construction. It was supposed to be paid off in 10 years, but the economic crisis means Rio is behind on the payments. Meanwhile, the apartments at the athletes' village aren't being used. Some residents feel they're stuck, without the freedom to move anywhere else, but others are choosing to stay where they now feel is home.
We feel emptiness, but at the same time we're comfortable because we're on our land. It makes a big difference despite the emptiness. We're staying where we are. We aren't leaving. Our history is continuing in this community.
The Olympics will be remembered years after its fleeting two-week run in Rio. Its glory has left behind many white elephants and burdens for residents. Tom Fredericks, TRT World.
For more on the financial problems of the Olympics, I'm joined now by Christopher Gaffney, a senior research fellow at the University of Zurich. His research involves the urban and social impacts of mega sports events, particularly in Brazil, and he joins me now from New York. Great to have you with us, Christopher. Let's start in Brazil, where we left off with that report. Aside from the disused stadiums and everything, Brazil has actually asked the IOC for help in paying off its debts of about $40 million. How did Brazil mismanage its finances so badly?
Well, part of the Brazilian promise was that in 2009 there was an economic boom with big oil reserves and a commodity boom, and that boom disappeared very quickly. And so the original projections for income for the state of Rio de Janeiro and the federal government were wildly exaggerated by the time the Olympics came around. And I think it's important to realize as well that there are very different kinds of budgets for the Olympics. There's an operating budget that the Rio 2016 Organizing Committee is now asking the IOC for $400 million for. But then there's also the infrastructure budget, which is borne by the city and the state and the federal government. And that second budget for the infrastructure was also wildly underestimated. And this is just something that we see in every host city, whether it be London, Sochi, Athens, Rio, or Beijing.
OK, let's cut to the chase here. The Olympics have become a multi-billion-dollar money spinner for advertisers and broadcasters. Isn't the solution to simplify these games and scale them down to a size that smaller economies like Brazil can manage easily and don't have to go into debt for?
Well, it is a part of the problem is the simplicity, but this is not part of the Olympic motto. The Olympic motto is faster, stronger, higher, and this is, you can always go bigger and better if you're an Olympian. So this is not an organization predicated on modesty, for one. And secondarily, this is not only for advertisers, for this global sports industry, but also in the local context, it's an opportunity for real estate agents to make a lot of money, construction firms, security firms, tourism. And so it's an entire industrial complex that's associated with the Olympics that has no interest at all in modifying the way these games work. And so what we see is a relatively highly mobile, highly extractive business model that can go from city to city with this monopoly context to extract rents from cities. And this is essentially a transfer of wealth program from cities to advertisers, to the IOC, to construction firms. And unless that fundamental business model is questioned, then nothing will change.
Christopher Gaffney in New York, thank you ever so much.